Hello and welcome to this week's This is MediaCity. I'm Stephen Chapman and today I'm joined by Maltina Jashari, who we are hoping is going to be Salford's first ever female F1 driver. It's an incredible journey she's been on already, and also she is talking about how important STEM is and encouraging young girls to get both into motorsports but also into STEM. Maltina, welcome to the This is MediaCity podcast. I know you're not used to these podcasts. I think this is your first, isn't it?
First podcast.
So don't worry about that. We'll try and make it easy for you. And this is, do you know what? This is the reason why we start with an icebreaker. Maltina is unique in what we've had so far on This is MediaCity because you're a racing driver from Salford. And we're going to get a lot more into that. But first of all, with all our podcasts, we start with an icebreaker, which are random questions to try and find out a bit more about you and hopefully break the ice a bit and chill you out ahead of the podcast. So pick a card, any card, and hopefully it's a good one.
Ooh, best piece of advice. So the best piece of advice I'd give is, like, along my journey, especially in such a male-dominated field and being a student and living in Salford, is to not give up. I think being in such an industry where it's heavily dominated by men and it's very, very based on sponsorship, and it's such a sport that it isn't done by a lot, and kind of not being able to find my crowd here in Salford that are very enthusiastic about motorsport, it'd be not giving up and kind of just finding what you're passionate about and just having that drive to continue and go for it. So yeah, not giving up. And I found that being the main thing that kind of got me to where I am today, really, yeah.
Fab, we're going to talk about that in a bit more depth shortly. I'll give you one more icebreaker.
Yeah.
Oh, you get two there. Grab one of them.
Why Salford?
Yeah, because usually we ask everybody, there's a chance for everybody for why Salford, but you're not, your parentage is not Salfordian, is it? Yeah,
so I'm born and raised here in Salford. I've lived my life. I've lived my whole life here in Salford. My parents are from Kosovo, so I'm Albanian, ethnic Albanian from Kosovo. But I've lived here my whole life, and I'm born and raised here. But my parents came here during the war, and being in Salford has actually kind of shaped who I am, really.
So because you're about to graduate from the University of Salford, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Did you choose the University of Salford because it was the closest one, or was there a specific reason why you're still studying here?
So being a part of motorsport, and also wanted to pursue a degree in STEM, and I think the best choice for me was to stay in Salford, and also because I did like the university and I liked being in this surrounding, as it's something that actually shaped who I am. And so choosing the University of Salford was a big thing, because it's a local thing, but also I just loved living in Salford and being in Salford, yeah.
Fab, ice broken, relax. Now, we met because there was this, there were Salford Creative, Greater Manchester Creative Mixers, and it just so happened there was one out there and I was just about to leave and someone came up to me and said, Stephen, there's a racing driver here, you've got to meet her. And that's how we kind of started chatting. And it still kind of baffles me. How do you get into racing? At what stage? Was it go-karting as a kid? What made you think, right, this is where I want to be?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of speed and just the adrenaline that racing gives. But where it all started, I took karting up as a hobby, and it was more of something that I did for fun. And it kind of then transferred into something that I was more passionate about, and then led into some races. And then that's when it kind of opened up to me that it's something that I really love doing, and kept on finding myself going back to the go-karting tracks and stuff like that. But it really all started, I was on holiday with my parents, and there was a funfair go-kart track, and the karts there were really fast, and so I found myself really enjoying it. And when I came back to the UK after the holidays, and then I was like, I need to go to a go-kart track, and then it was something that I went and kind of I was able to enjoy myself, and I found myself kind of competing with other boys and not really finding any other girls at the track. So it was just an incredible way for me to express myself, as I was also enjoying gaming as well. So being able to like drive fast on the virtual world, but then being able to do that in go-karts was when the passion really all started.
Did you find you were... Is it one of those things where you start finding you're a lot better than the others on the kart, and that starts...
That's where it kind of, I started picking it up, because what I love about this sport is that you're able to compete with other males as well, in comparison to some other sports, and being able to kind of beat them and be fast on track and kind of channeling all my adrenaline into speed was something that, it was always a challenge, but it was something that I enjoyed, and it kind of, I picked it up from there. And then the problem with the sport in general is that you kind of don't see it as a career, and you don't see any progression. And so what turned into kind of something as a hobby for me, I wanted to do it as a sport, but kind of died off because of the lack of kind of, for male drivers, for boys that are entering the sport, they have the clear progression of going into single seaters, and then kind of they see F1 as a dream. I always watched F1 races with my dad. It was something that we did every Sunday. It was great, and that's what I found my love for single seaters, and hopefully wanting to get into F1. It's a dream, but for females in the sport, it's always been a really huge barrier, kind of getting from karting to single seaters. And for me, the whole journey that I've been on, it's kind of been difficult. Also coming from a humble background and trying to enter a sport where,
you need money, don't you, if you want to be a driver?
Do, yeah.
You really need money, and I suppose as a young lad, you've got people like Lewis Hamilton and all these people you can look up to.
Yeah.
Is there anyone as a young girl you can go, they're the one?
Now there is, but when I was younger, I think the main thing that I kind of struggled on my journey was that there wasn't any representation. I think you couldn't switch the TV on and just watch females racing. It was more, you did see Lewis Hamilton and you did see all the other champions, but they were all male, and so not having that representation, I think, is what kind of impacted there not being that many female racing drivers. And now there's amazing initiatives like F1 Academy, where we're seeing females. On the same F1 weekend where Lewis Hamilton races, we see girls racing as well. And I think this is going to be the thing that breaks that barrier for the next generation of girls to come. And that's what I'm kind of hoping on my journey. Motorsport for me isn't just racing. It's a lot of things that you do off the track. Like for me, I'm also a student, and I think that STEM is such an amazing thing. And for me, it's opened a lot of doors. And in the motorsport world, specifically in the F1 world, there's so many different routes that you can take, and it's just being more visible now for females to see that there's a place for them in F1 or any motorsport. So yeah.
So do you feel almost like almost duty bound, or some kind of pressure on you that maybe a lad wouldn't have, that I'm kind of representing females here, I need to do more than just concentrate on the driving?
Yeah, I think that specifically me being here in Salford and being the first female racing driver here, is kind of, I'm trying to help change the narrative. So kind of bring more girls along and kind of be an example. Hopefully I can be a role model for the girls and young boys as well, especially from communities that aren't, let's say, represented. Because I've seen along my journey in motorsport, I've seen most of the things happen down in the south. So I tend to see myself going for racing and for testing.
All of the big companies are down that kind of area, aren't they?
Around Silverstone, around Milton Keynes and stuff like that. So I see myself travel down to the south to find these opportunities in motorsport. Not so much here in the north, especially in Manchester. And that's why I couldn't find my tribe here, and couldn't find people that related to like my experiences. And with the karting journey as well, it wasn't as big for me, as I didn't have the support. I didn't see it as a career progression. And then only a couple, like 5 years ago, I kind of thought, yes, I want to continue this passion. But it was hard to balance studies as well as racing. I think that's a challenge that I've had to overcome and learn, that actually I can use my my education and being in an engineering field to kind of help me adapt with the racing world, as they're really intertwined as well. I've learnt through racing a lot of resilience, and it's kind of shaped who I am in my studies as well, and I've been able to mix them both. So.
As someone, I have to admit, I'm naive when it comes to Formula One and racing and the various stages you go through. Obviously, F1 is seen as the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Where are you at in that kind of pyramid to get you up there? Because there's karting is where you start, yes, and there's lots of Fs in between, aren't there?
That's true, yeah. So this year I was fortunate to kind of get into the world of F4, so the entry level for single seaters.
So that's they're not as powerful as the F1 cars, is that right?
Not as powerful,
but they are still single seater race cars.
Still, yeah. So it's the entry level, still single seaters. As my journey previously was in Radical race cars, so Radical SR3, and they're open roof, not single seaters, but it was a good low budget entry into the motorsport world, into actual real racing. And I did that for around 2.5 years. And it was good as I used it as a way to develop my racecraft, having that low budget, as the level F4 is a different category, different level of sponsorship that's needed there. And so it was always a dream for me, and that's what I was kind of striving to do. But then budget is where you can't find yourself on track all the time, and then you find yourself doing other things like esports and sim racing, and I'm a huge ambassador for the sim racing side of motorsport, as it's helped me develop as a driver. And my journey with Radicals has been great as well. I think that's what's kind of set me apart from other drivers, maybe that come straight from karting into single seaters. I've had that 2 to 3 years of developing in a Radical race car.
And what happens after this? Is it you just need more sponsorship to get to the faster car, or how does it move up? Obviously, there's skills involved as well. I'm assuming you've got the skills. So, but what's the next step for you after that?
I've been in a few international races as well. More recently, in the F4 world, I was selected to take part in a FIA shootout race with the F4 Indian Championship, and that was good because it was my first time in a Generation 1 F4 car, and I was competing against male drivers as well, in a different setting, different conditions, as I'm normally used to the rain here in the UK. So being in the south of France and competing in those conditions really broke the barrier for I've developed a lot more skills in the racecraft that's needed.
You must be a better driver racing in the rain in Salford, though.
Yes, yeah. No, I think I've developed a really good, strong foundation here, and I'm excited to kind of do a bit more testing in F4 now that's needed, and kind of entering a championship. So with F4 now, I'm progressing at a slow rate as the sponsorship's needed, and at the moment now I'm set to do testing, so F4 testing with the British F4 team, and hopefully from there I can kind of what's needed now is to get more mileage in an F4 car, and the goal is F1 Academy. So if I can do the steps that I needed to hopefully shoot my shot and getting a seat on the F1 Academy grid,
that would be amazing. And I suppose the call out, you're on a podcast now, you need sponsors, and wouldn't it be great if a Greater Manchester company said, let's sponsor a Salford race driver?
Yeah.
Because I presume this is, when you sponsor a race car, if they sponsored you, what do they get from it? Look, make the sales pitch, you're here.
Yeah, you put me on the spot, but no. I think we all know sponsorship and you get the logo on the race car, but for me, it's so much more. I'm on a mission to not only be on track and do my laps and hopefully win, but I'm on a mission to kind of show that representation that was missing for me, show that and change the narrative, like I said, for younger girls, that it is possible to be in a race car and to enjoy a sport that's typically, I haven't got the traditional motorsport background where I had, let's say, I come from that I don't know how to put it into words. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually, I imagine most people when they, if you look at F1, for example, they're quite well off.
Yes.
And they've got the resource, because you need the resource to get to the next stage, don't you?
So having those limited resources on budget kind of impacted my journey, for it not being, it wasn't as straightforward, and had to kind of create my own pathway really. And being a driver here from Salford, not having anyone to look up to, I had to make my own path. And that's what I want to do with me being a STEM student as well. I have a motto, and I have it on my racing suit. It's 4 hashtags that I have. It's kind of a statement that I want to, when I'm on track, to show people that girls can engineer speed and be speed. So that's one of my statements. It's that girls can also be in the driver's seat, but they can also engineer it. So as a STEM student, I've been part of some amazing programs, more recently with the Aston Martin F1 team. So they had a leadership program in collaboration with the Alito Foundation. And I was there for 9 months, and I was able to develop so many skills. But being in such a high performance environment, especially it was male dominated, especially people from the south, and being in that environment that I wasn't used to, I was able to kind of develop that confidence to kind of go after and see that I can be a part of this world. And with that statement that I have on my racing suit, it's a mission that I can hopefully pass on to younger girls. And one of the other statements that I have, though, the hashtag is next gen fuel. So being fuel for the next generation. So it's always about leaving that legacy and leaving something behind, and kind of helping other girls see that it's something that they can do. Hopefully I want to leave like a clear path, because for me it was all over the place. I kind of had to be a manager, be behind the social media side of everything for me, and kind of be behind the fitness, and I had to teach myself all these things. Well, I've seen other drivers have it all kind of given to them on a plate. I've had to kind of do my research, do a lot of the learning, and
That's why you need to sponsor. You mentioned the fitness there. You've mentioned all the esports as well. How much of this is because you've had your studies as well? I know you're aiming for a first, aren't you? How much does it have to take over your life to achieve what you want to achieve? Oh
yeah, it's just been, motorsport has been, I've just lived and breathed motorsport like these past couple of years as well. Just to attain where I want to, the goal that I want to do is to get into F1 Academy, and having to do everything yourself. I've seen myself working hours on just like on the sim, learning the tracks and learning the skills, but also having to go into meetings and do the sponsorship pitches myself. And it's just been, I've had to touch on so many different worlds and kind of learn from each one, and then create that balance to kind of have that drive. And it's the strong belief that I have that I can do it, and that keeps on pushing me to chase.
And that's unbelievably impressive, because generally I was thinking, the fitness, just having, you need strong neck muscles, you need to have I imagine that your reaction times need to be, and the whole fitness thing, that for some drivers is practically their full-time job, but that's practically an add-on to everything else you've got to do.
Yeah.
So how do you manage all of that? You must be exhausted.
Yes, at some points I'm really exhausting, because the stress of being at lectures and being present in my academic life has also had a toll on not being present as much as I want it to be in the racing world, getting the fitness up on point, getting the esports side of things. And it's been hard, but I've come to that balance, and being part of these programs, like I said, with Aston Martin F1 team, and recently with McLaren Next program, these initiatives have also helped me develop those skills and develop kind of learning about that world and how I can manage it. So learning about the culture at McLaren Racing, and how we find the team that are on trackside, so how they manage their nutrition, the fitness, and being present there, and kind of working as a team as well. And I've been a one-person team really, but I've learned how to kind of get around things, and I think the drive and the passion and the love for the sport is keeping me going. and having that dream and kind of proving myself that I can be, go on track really, yeah.
I think it's the F1 Academy you've mentioned a couple of times. What does that mean? Does that mean there's more of a chance of a seat? Does that mean what happens if you get chosen, when you get chosen to be part of that?
Yeah, so with F1 Academy, it's such an incredible opportunity because you get visibility. And as females in the sport, most females that want to achieve the F1 dream and be in F1, we need sponsorship. And it's harder for females to get sponsorship because it's still, women aren't racing in F2 or F1. So we don't get that sponsorship easily because we don't see the progression. The companies and the people that sponsor don't see the progression. But now with F1 Academy, the visibility is there. For a bit more background information on what F1 Academy is doing. So on the F1 weekend, it's a compromise of 10 F1 teams. So each girl is backed by the team and backed by the initiative that F1 Academy stands for. And being there kind of gives you that publicity and that it's easier to get the sponsorship. It's easier to progress then, kind of prove yourself on track and then kind of progress to F3. But when you're a kind of a one-person team, it's hard to do these things as you're heavily dependent on finding that budget to go racing. And getting into F1 Academy is the difficult part. It's kind of finding your way into it is difficult, as now I've kind of come to terms that I need to get as much mileage as I can in an F4 car. So progress on the testing and kind of get a testing program in place. So now in October, I'll hopefully getting back into the race car and doing a bit more testing.
The F1 Academy, let's talk about deadlines because we're recording this the end of September. You've got to do a lot of work between now and when's the date?
Around end of October now.
End of October. So what have you got to do before the end of October to try and get a place in the F1 Academy?
Yeah, to prove myself and get that place, I need to do as much testing as I can. And like I said, having limited budget and limited resources, it's difficult to get that testing in order for F1 Academy to kind of notice and pick up on the testing that I'm doing. So because I'm an idiot, what is testing? Is it just whizzing around the course as fast as you can, or is there more to it than that? There's a bit more to it than that, but
I told you I didn't know what I was talking about.
No, in general, it's getting that those lap times in and kind of consulting with your engineers and coaches, but getting that mileage, so getting that experience in that F4 car to kind of show to F1 Academy that I am up to speed and up to date, really. And
so it's not just about the fact that you can go really fast down the straight. It's almost that you can work within the team and they see the potential of someone who can be there.
Yeah, if the racing team sees the potential and the results are coming in and the data is there, that's what they're after. And so budget is very budget dependent. I need that budget for the end of September and October, the beginning of October, to do that testing and to get those results in as fast as I can, really. Yeah.
Because that money presumably pays for the people to be there, the track time, it goes
straight to the racing team, yeah. So the sponsorship, it would go straight to the racing team to get me out on track, really, yeah.
And you have to do that every single time. So you need to have a lot of money because every single time you're paying lots of money to the racing team to make it happen.
Yeah, for every testing day. So it's a day of testing, yeah. So the session only lasts the day. And the more mileage you get, it's the better. So I'm competing with like hundreds of girls around the world for a seat in the F1 Academy. And especially being here in Salford and not being connected to like that motorsport world, that's what I found difficult. And being up against so many girls around the world, everyone's preparing in their own space and time with the resources that they have.
I'm going to ask a very naive question now, so forgive me. Obviously you race against the males as well now. Is this a case of racing hasn't caught up with the rest of the world yet, or is there a reason why there aren't that many girls in the sport? Because if you look at how football, golf, rugby league, or rugby union as well, we just had the World Cup. Obviously women's sport is coming so high on the agenda elsewhere. are you just missing yourself maybe, or someone else who can just be that break the door down?
So racing's been going on for like 100 years now, and the boys that do the racing, they kind of progress into karting championships, and there's more boys that do in karting. And I think that's the main reason that we need to get more girls driving at early ages, to kind of get them in the motorsport ladder, get them from karting to progress into single seaters. And if there's more girls that are doing karting, then we can easily, like the organisations can easily spot the talent and kind of nurture them and support them onto the motorsport ladder and get them into F4. And it's just the pool of grassroots sports. And I think that I was at a conference, Ray's conference, so it's a women in sports conference in London. It took place there last week, and the main topics around were getting girls from grassroots level, getting them into sports at early ages. And I think that's the main divide with males and females in any sport, is that the earlier they start, and if they find the love and then get that support around them, kind of helps them progress. And with motorsport being so expensive and heavily dependent on sponsorship, that's also another barrier that females have faced, is that they didn't find that support to help them progress. Yeah.
Do you think we're close to getting a girl sitting in an F1 car, or getting that recognition? Yes,
I think the way things are going and the trends are changing now, and with F1 Academy and the viewership that it's getting, it's a good signal. And I think definitely there's more girls that are getting into karting now, and the dream's there. And if girls keep on pushing, and if we get stronger support and the community. So for example, I want to help change the narrative here in Salford, and so I'm very loyal to Salford in the sense that, because I've grown up here my whole life and been to school here, and I've seen so much talent, but there hasn't been opportunity. So if we're able to create these opportunities for younger girls, and if they can see, now they can see it on TV with F1 Academy, but if they can see local role models, and hopefully I can be that, get more girls into karting, and then hopefully we can do the F1 dream of getting a girl in F1, yeah.
And I suppose a part of that is, you've mentioned esports quite a lot already, but racing is one of those where the esport crossover is pretty much perfect, isn't it? You can race the track without the danger, but but that's an easy way, kind of a potentially easy way in for young girls to realise, oh, I can do this.
Yeah. So I was a very passionate gamer when I was younger, and now I've realised the value that esports holds, and it's getting a really big push around the world as well. Everyone's really big on esports, and if we can get that for girls as well, get them into sim racing, because there isn't that many girls that do sim racing, and if we can get that push to, if girls can see themselves enjoying sim racing, and it's because it's low budget, you don't need to be on track, you don't need all those expensive.
I don't know, the steering wheel and all the rest of it.
Yeah. But it's so good, because obviously you don't feel the force and everything, but you can learn a lot of racecraft on the sim as well. And if girls can find themselves enjoying sim racing and it being more accessible to young girls, definitely, yeah.
And that's a big thing at Salford University as well, isn't it? Because I think you've been doing a bit of that.
Yeah, I've done a bit of training with the esports lab at my university, hopefully going to progress and use that, and hopefully collaborate with the university in that sense, show that girls can do esports as well, and kind of I want to share my experiences and knowledge that I've gained over the past couple of years, but especially last year with being in these programs that I've been in. Kind of I can share my knowledge and get younger girls and get the students at the University of Salford to see that there's so many different career routes in motorsport, whether it's media, business, the engineering side, obviously, and
Sitting in the cockpit on an esports game, how close is it, apart from obviously the G-force and everything else? Can you get in a car? I mean, if you sat in your esports chair doing a course, are you going to be head and shoulders above everyone else because you're so good in a car? Is the crossover that close, or can you be a brilliant gamer and get on a track and be a great racer?
Actually, there's been a few stories, and I think of some films made around the idea of a sim racer actually getting on track and being a better racing driver than some racing drivers that have started from young, early ages in karting, let's say. So the crossover's there, and a lot of investments going into esports because of this, and especially talking about sim racing, which I'm more familiar on, is that it does really develop you as a driver. I found it myself. Yeah, and I'm really excited about the esport world, and hopefully now I'm able to share. I can't share some news now, but around the sim racing world, there's some, yeah.
And what's next for you? Because obviously we've got, very important to get sponsors. We'll mention sponsors again. But you've got a degree to finish, and then the degree finishes. What do you do? Is it all in now?
Yeah, so once I get my degree finished, then it's going to be full on focusing on my racing career, trying to get to the dream that I've always had. And it's really difficult. It's still, I'm doing everything that I can, and still find myself in a really difficult position, as it's not like any other sport that you can just go out and play football and go to the tennis court and practice on your tennis. You need the budget and the sponsorship to get on track and practice. And I kind of need that next level support, get a community around me, a support group around me that can help me get to the next level. It's still a huge barrier for me to cross to get into that. I think I've done everything that needs to be done. It's just that next level support to kind of pass the barrier and get myself into F1 Academy so I can prove myself, yeah.
And in the meantime, just pushing that idea for girls that STEM is kind of cool and exciting. Look what it can open up.
Yeah, I mean, I found myself, because I studied maths, physics and chemistry in college, and during that time when I was studying that, I found it opened so many doors, but also it allowed me to have a different view on life, and more technical, more focused. And I found that helped me in the racing world. When I do get in the race car, you have to be really focused and have that mindset. And I've realised it is also about like your fitness levels and everything, like the sim racing that you do, but it's also all about mindset. I think that's the most important thing that I found myself when I'm in the race car. It's having that mental strength, having that mindset, being focused. And I also got that from being a girl in STEM and having to kind of, there's so many challenges that you face, but then you have to kind of overcome them. And it was something that I loved and passionate about. And I think that if girls can see that from a young age in schools, because sometimes it does get boring in class, but if they can see that there's other opportunities that come with the STEM, maybe it's worth those hours in class and worth those hours of revision at home to kind of, it's a challenge, but I found myself enjoying it, and it was something that I loved, and it does open so many amazing doors, yeah.
And you're carrying the flag for Salford, but you're also carrying the flag for Kosovo.
Yeah.
Because of your, I'm trying to get this right, the first ever Albanian female racing driver to represent Kosovo because of your parents as well. Yeah,
so like I said, my parents came to the UK around 25 years ago, and having that, I'm kind of living like two worlds. I'm also very local and very loyal to Salford, and I've lived here my whole life, but also having that heritage and learning about my family roots, and like it was an opportunity to represent Kosovo on a global stage. And motorsports isn't a big thing in Kosovo or Albania, so being the first female racing driver there as well is kind of inspired a lot of groups and inspired 2 countries really to kind of get maybe
3 countries, UK as well. You've got Salford backing you too.
I've got Salford. So no, being able to have that impact also gives me that passion to kind of and that drive to really chase my dream, so that I can hopefully give back. And that's my main motto really, to kind of pay back and give back to the younger generation, and hopefully, yeah.
Well, we wish you all the very best, and I think it would be wrong for me not to end this part and just say, that's your camera there. Just say how people can get in touch with you, whether on Instagram, whatever else, LinkedIn. Just if, for example, if there was a rich Greater Manchester Salfordian firm that felt STEM is really important, they've got a young girl, as CA might have a daughter who's really into STEM or racing, why they should have their name on your suit car.
Yeah, so yeah, like you said, I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn, and hopefully after this podcast we can share some like contact details. But yeah, the the dream is, like I discussed, to kind of get more girls into racing, and hopefully I can be a role model for them. And really, I've worked so hard to get to where I am now, and just to achieve the dream of being in F1 Academy, but being on track more and kind of proving to the boys that girls can race. And yeah, motorsport is such an incredible world. It's not just about the racing. Like I said, there's so many things behind it. There's so many opportunities come out of it, and kind of, especially here in Salford, if we can tell the younger generation that with motorsport and with STEM, there's so many opportunities. And yeah, I just want to be someone that can help change this narrative and kind of be leading the path here in Salford as well for the younger generation.
Magic, thank you very much, and all the best of luck.
Thank you very much for having me.
So if you are interested in sponsoring and helping Maltina, please do get in touch. This is MediaCity is a 39 Pictures production in partnership with the University of Salford and on behalf of MediaCity UK. We are here every week, so please remember to like, subscribe, comment and share, and we'll see you next Friday. The production team are Meg Bond, Tegan Easton, Akila Hewitt and James Young.